Hey y'all, Nono here. This is where I parked last night, and you can see in the background the beautiful mountains that may actually be in Alaska. I'm not 100% sure, but this is my 8th day since crossing the Canadian border, and so today's the day that we finally make it to Alaska. You'd think that I would be in a hurry, but I'm not. The days for hurrying are over. I've spent the last 2 years trying to make it here, and what I've learned in those 2 years is if you take your time going to Alaska, you're probably never going to get there because there's too much in between where you live and Alaska to see and to do that you just can't see and do all of it and make it to Alaska in the same year. So, my focus this year has been to not take my time going to Alaska, but to get here as quickly as I could. When I crossed the border in Emerson 8 days ago, had no idea how long it was going to take. I was guessing around 7 days, but I brought provisions for 14 days because you never know what could happen, and you can easily get caught out here in the middle of nowhere because of a breakdown or whatever it might be, and there's no food or anything like that close by, so it's better to be over prepared than under prepared. In keeping with my policy of keeping it real, I'm going to show you some things about Alaska this morning that you probably won't see on any of those other YouTube channels. I'm going to show you some stuff that's real and not a lot of fun. Okay, so you see the beautiful mountains in the background. You also see this beautiful semi beside me. He rolled in about midnight last night. When I went to bed last night, it was about 63 degrees. When I woke up this morning, it was about 29. And it's been that way for the last 3 nights. The first night caught me completely by surprise because when you're on the Caster Highway or the Alaska Highway, very few opportunities to have internet access, so you can't just check the weather forecast and see how cold it's going to be at a particular spot. And so you just have to be prepared for what's going to happen, but that's one of the things that's not very pleasant, is that you may go to bed warm and wake up cold, and you don't have the convenience of knowing what it's going to be like. Also, the sun went down last night about 11:40, came up about 4:30 this morning. It's a hard adjustment to make. It's harder than you think it would be, because you just don't know what it's going to be until you get there. Because if you look out here, that's nothing but wilderness, and there are bears in this wilderness, so you should always have your eyes open. As a matter of fact, I probably should not have left my van doors open, and I normally would not have, because I normally wouldn't be holding the camera like this. But another thing you need to have with you when you're outside in the wilderness like this is bear spray, because even in a place like this, and really especially in a place like this where garbage is disposed of, bears can be looking around trying to find something to eat because they smell the smell. One other thing I forgot to tell you is the wonderful plastic bag that I use to line my trash can with. at least in the part of Canada that I have come through, plastic bags have been outlawed. So, you know, we use those so often to line our trash cans and things like that. But if you go into a Canadian grocery store, at least a Canadian grocery store in this part of the country, you better take something to put your groceries in, because they do not provide plastic bags. About ready to head down the road. I'm about 4 hours away from the Alaskan border. Like I said earlier, you'd think I'd be in a hurry, but I'm not, because now the real work begins. I know, you know, people come to Alaska for different reasons. I think I've told you about my reason, and that is to, you know, shine some light into a world that's pretty dark and getting darker. So if you are believers, and I hope some of you are, you know, that should be our job every day, not just when we go on a trip, but I hope if you do go on a trip like this, that you will also try to shine some light into a dark world, and leave the places where you go and the people that you meet better than you found them. All right, so I'm about to get on the road now. I'm going to go check and see and make sure everything is tied down the way it's need to be. And first order of business when I get to Alaska is going to be to get my oil changed and get my tires rotated if I can find a place. It's very kind of weird in a way, because I don't really know. I mean, I know the general direction I'm going to go, but I don't know the first thing about what's going to happen or where I'm going to be tonight or any of that stuff, which that's normal. That's the way it's been on this whole trip. But I do hope that I can cross the border without having to throw away very much of this food that I bought in Canada, because I do still have several days worth of you know, fresh produce and things that the Border Patrol agent might want me to get rid of before I come into Alaska. So I'm just hoping and praying that I'll be able to keep my groceries, because, you know, I just hate throwing away food. That's just part of who I am. So, but we'll see when we get there. God will provide either way. So hopefully next time that you see me, I will be in Alaska. So this is yet another part of driving to Alaska, road construction. You're going to see a lot of ladies like this stopping traffic. Be sure and thank them when you get the chance. Looks like it's about time for us to go, maybe. So we'll see you up the road. And this is what a stretch of road construction looks, feels, and sounds like. So this guy in the truck is going to lead us through it safely. Back home, they just leave it up to you to exercise some common sense. But I think up here in Canada, they have figured out that common sense is in short supply. So they make you follow these pilot cars, is what they call them. Make sure that you don't go too fast. And as you can see, I'm going a little bit slower than he's probably going, but I do not want to slide off this gravel road. have a grizzly bear with a cub. Gotta always be watching for them. I guess you figured out by now. Maybe haven't figured out. This is Lake Luani. And I've been driving around it for about 10 minutes now. It's huge. I think it is the largest lake in the Yukon Territory. Possibly one of the biggest lakes in Canada. I'm not sure about that. But you could see that that particular bear was not used to traffic. The bears that you see normally around the sides of the Alaska Highway won't even pay any attention to traffic. And it may be because that one had a cub. That may be part of why she was a little more aggressive. And, you know, it's like I was saying at that rest stop. You know, just because you're on a major highway, that doesn't mean there aren't bears in the area. And there often are bears in the area around the highways and rest stops, because that's where we leave our trash. And to the bear, the trash smells like food, and sometimes it is food. All right, there's the sign. Everybody else is stopping to get their picture took in front of it. I think it probably looks better without me in front of it. And we're now entering the Alaska time zone, so I have no idea what time it is. So I'm gonna check out.
Welcome to the United States of America.
Didn't that sound good? Well, I don't know exactly where I am, but I know I'm in Alaska. 5-hour drive from Haines to get here. But we finally made it. So where'd I go from here? Not really sure. They didn't confiscate any of my groceries coming across the border, so that was a good thing. Okay, this is campsite for the first night in Alaska. I have no idea what it's called. It's just a nice little lake. Just as I got inside the border, I believe that is the Chugach Mountains in the distance over there. A nice sunny day in Alaska. You don't get those very often, so I'm blessed. When the sun shows up in Alaska, he is not bashful about it. Have you ever seen a reflection of a sunrise? Have you ever seen a lake turn pink? You have now. About to head in to talk to get my oil changed and tires rotated and maybe some clothes washed, and I didn't take a shower, you never know. But right now I got to get in out of the mosquitoes. They're about to eat me alive. I finally made it to talk this morning. Took me 2.5 hours to drive 85 to 90 miles. So just be aware, pack your patience if you're coming. There's lots of road construction. The roads are rough even when there's not road construction. But I'm so glad that I did not try to drive all the way here after I crossed into Alaska yesterday afternoon. Parking beside that little lake right after I crossed the state line was the best idea I've had in a long time. As a matter of fact, I will give God credit for it, because he really knew the exact right place where I needed to stay last night. There was a lot of cars that passed by me that afternoon and even into the night. So it was kind of noisy parking there. But here's the thing. All those cars that passed by me while I was stopped at that lake for the night, they all had to sit in traffic behind each other on their way to talk. Now, there's only 2 roads that lead into Alaska: the top of the World Highway and the Alaskan Highway. But both of those roads lead directly to Tok. So as far as getting in or getting out of Alaska, all roads lead to Tok. So you've eventually got to go here. But I got up at 5:30 this morning, packed up, and drove here. I had the road all to myself. Whereas if I tried to drive here yesterday afternoon, it would have been bumper to bumper probably in those construction zones. So do yourself a favor, and if you get to the state line after 12 o'clock, or especially like I did after 2 o'clock, just find yourself a place to park, let that traffic go by, and then get up early the next morning and you'll have the road all to yourself. At least I did today. Another thing you want to consider is, it's going to take you longer to get anywhere than you think it will. Alaska's a big state, and the towns are, far apart from each other. They look close when you look at them on the map, but they're not close distance-wise. They're definitely not close time-wise. So try to be flexible. If you're coming to Alaska and you've got limited time, you may not get to do all the things that you meant to do or wanted to do. So, be ready to reset your priorities more than once or twice even, because the roads are going to be your big times constraint on doing things and going places. So I'm going to see if I can get my oil change and tires rotated. I still have no idea what time it actually is. I know the time zone I'm in, but I haven't had any internet access, no cell phone access all the way to Tok to be able to check my phone and see what the official time actually is. So I will check in with you sometime. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do today or tomorrow. I may just kind of hang out around Tok and try to, get some other things done, get some video uploaded. I've shot lots of video and I got some of it edited, but I've been so far away from civilization, I've not been able to upload any of it. So be looking for some new videos to come out in the next couple of days. And so I will see you later on, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, but sometime. Okay, thought I'd just show y'all around Tok a little bit. This is probably the first thing you want to come to, is the Tok Visitor Center. They're very helpful in there. The lady that was in the Visitor Center gave me very good advice about how to get everything done that I needed to get done here in town. And this is one of the places that you're probably going to want to come. It's the Three Bears Alaska grocery store. I was amazed at how they seem to know exactly what I needed before I even got here. I had searched for tortilla in Canada and was not able to find hardly any that was the right size in this grocery store, which, as far as I know, is the only grocery store in town. I actually found some tortilla that is made in Alaska, if you can believe that. Didn't think I would ever hear of that, but there's actually a company in Anchorage that makes tortilla. So now we're going to go on down the street here, and I'm going to show you a couple other places. Mainly the place where I got my oil changed and tires rotated. Was able to get that done in one place instead of having to go, from a tire store to a oil change place. The lady in the visitor center was able to send me to a place where I was able to do both. So this is the place where I got my oil changed. It's a pretty unusual name for a gas station and garage. The name of the place is called Northern Energy. And so there it is. As far as I know, they did a great job on it. Had not had any trouble with my car at all. There is a 24-hour credit card gas station here, so if you roll into town after hours, I did not try using it, but supposedly this one pump here is open 24 hours. It may be the only one in town that is open 24 hours. Okay, so a little bit farther down the road, heading towards Fairbanks, you'll find this laundromat. It's not the biggest one I've ever been in. Has 2 large machines and about maybe 6 smaller machines. It's right next to this Tundra RV park, but as far as I know, you do not have to be staying at this RV park in order to use the laundromat. They may be owned by the same person, I'm not sure. But I was able to get my laundry done. There was not a lot of people in there. There may be some other laundromats in town. There's one up at a motel in town that's got a big sign saying laundromat on the roof, but a lady that was doing her laundry in this laundromat told me that laundromat was not open anymore. So I just did my laundry this one since there wasn't a crowd. They do have a change machine that takes up to $20 bills. There are a couple of banks in town, I think. But I was able to get $20 worth of quarters. If you go to a bank, that's what they're going to give you. Is a roll of quarters is $20 anyway. So if you're here for any length of time, you're going to be doing laundry more than once. The charge for the large machines was $4. The charge for the smaller machines was $3.50. And the dryers, I think, were $1 for every 4 minutes of drying time, and I was able to dry my load in 16 minutes. This is the place where I'm planning on worshiping today. This happens to be a Sunday. It's called Gateway Baptist Church. Tok is known as the gateway city to Alaska because you have to go through Tok to get anywhere in Alaska. Looks like I'm the first worshiper here today. I'm not sure if I'm even parking at the right place or not, but I'm going to try to get this video edited and uploaded before the day is over, because once I leave Tok, there's not going to be any internet access for quite a ways. So I'm going to try to get this edited and uploaded today. So hope you enjoy it. Hope it helps. Hope that the information helps you to get some things done when you get to the Gateway City. And I'm sure these folks at Gateway Baptist Church would be glad for you to come and worship with them. You see their schedule there. So see y'all up the road. Probably next place that I'll be is Wrangell St. Elias National Park.